It's day 3 of Evil Dead Week here on Scary World. We're counting down the days till the release of the new installment, Evil Dead Burn. To celebrate, I'm going through all the movies in the iconic franchise. Well, almost all the movies, as long as they have Evil Dead in the title. That means no Army of Darkness. Sorry, guys. Sam Raimi handed the keys to the cabin to some guy he found on YouTube. And what happened next is one of the most brutal horror films of the last 20 years. Today, we're covering 2013's Evil Dead. Welcome to Scary World, where I walk you through the best, the worst, and the downright disturbing. I'm Arturo Padilla.
Hi.
Let's get into it. 5 friends head to a remote cabin where the discovery of the Book of the Dead leads them to unwittingly summon up demons living in the nearby woods. The first category is production. Does this movie look good? Is it well executed? This was Fede Álvarez's feature film debut. Sam Raimi had seen his short film Panic Attack about giant robots destroying a city. He then called him up with a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to direct the next Evil Dead movie. Álvarez jumped at the chance and showcased his keen eye for horror. He knows what he's doing behind the camera. The shots are well framed and composed, helping fill the screen with as much terror as possible. The many action sequences are well staged and keep the audience engaged throughout the entire movie. One of my biggest gripes is that Álvarez needed to have some restraint. Some of these action shots and close-ups have earned the right to breathe a little bit. Instead, the coverage keeps churning and it gets hard to follow what's actually happening at times. It's the one moment where Álvarez's confidence works against him. The setting is as expected, eerie and isolated. The cabin is dressed with real dread. It's a place that's been rotting for decades and finally has an audience. It's the grimiest looking cabin in the entire franchise. Another real pro move by Álvarez was pushing hard for practical effects over digital. And the production went through an absurd amount of fake blood by the end of the shoot, and it shows. When a limb comes off, it has mass, and it comes across on the screen. For production, Evil Dead gets a 1 out of 2. I really like the look of this movie a lot. My only thing is, as I said earlier, was that Álvarez needed to make sure some of his beautiful shots actually breathed a little bit, so the audience can just sit there and breathe along with the shot itself. We get a lot of chaotic scenes here that needed to have a little bit of restraint behind it. The camera just sitting still for a moment in order to help the audience digest exactly what's going on screen. The next category is story. Does this all make sense? Does it keep you engaged? The story and the script were written by Álvarez and his writing partner, Rodo Sayagues. These guys knew what the assignment was and they nailed it. That opening sequence is an absolute banger. It's brutal, it's violent, and it holds nothing back. It truly is a tone setter. The premise of this installment is clever. Using addiction intervention as a framing device provides a justified reason for 5 people to seclude themselves in a cabin in the woods. And it's also a smart bit of misdirection for the narrative. When Mia starts screaming that there's something out there, everyone just assumes it's withdrawal. The Book of the Dead in this version screams "do not touch," enclosed in a black bag with barbed wire wrapped around it, and when finally revealed, it looks like something stitched together off Frankenstein's chest. And of course, somebody just had to open this thing and read ancient words aloud. All the explicit warning signs were completely ignored. I guess the dead cats in the cellar strung up by barbed wire weren't enough to scare anyone away. To the film's credit, the characters do eventually put 2 and 2 together, but you have to accept a certain amount of suspension of common sense to get there. What redeems the story is the structure. All 3 acts are perfectly paced with all the proper beats hit along the way. The film also offers a brief reprieve before the chaotic, blood-soaked climax in which Mia earns every bit of her final girl status. The script also pays proper homage to the past. The sawed-off shotgun, the hand bite, the cellar, 3 women owning the screen, the chainsaw, weaving these key beats from the franchise into the narrative while making it its own. For story, Evil Dead got a 2 out of 2. I really enjoyed the way everything went down here. Aside from Eric reading the ancient words and summoning all hell, this was absolutely one of the best horror narratives I've seen in a long time. And even on rewatch, it still holds up. Eric is still an idiot and deserves everything that's coming to him, but this movie really does a great job of captivating you and engaging you and frightening you on top of that from beginning to the end. The next category is ensemble. Does the cast have chemistry? Are the performances good? The entire cast does a great job with their respective roles. Everyone is committing physically, and Alvarez is clearly giving them real direction here, especially in the possession performances, where everybody's going for it, not holding anything back. Alvarez actually minimized CGI specifically so the actors would be reacting to things that were actually there. Real blood, real prosthetics, real mess. You can feel that in the takes. Some stood out more than others though. The actress in the opening sequence, Phoenix Connolly, does a tremendous amount with a very small role and helps establish the tone for the merciless force at the center of this movie. And then there's Jane Levy. This is her movie without question. She anchors this thing and carries this on her back. She goes through a roller coaster of emotions and nails every stop on it. Demonic Mia is genuinely unnervingly evil. One of the highlights of her performance is her eyes. They are so expressive, especially after her initial possession. Very haunting performance. Like Bruce Campbell before her, she went through hell on that set to get a performance worthy of this nightmare. For ensemble, Evil Dead gets a 2 out of 2. The entire cast knew exactly what their job was on set and they accomplished it 100%. Even Eric, who's annoying in this movie and reads from the Book of the Dead, does a great job with his role. He gets his butt kicked from the moment he starts reading that thing all the way till the end. And the rest of the cast also, including Jessica Lucas, who plays Olivia, and Elizabeth Blackmore, who plays Natalie. These women owned their roles, they owned their possessions, and deliver an outstanding physical performance on screen, aiding and supporting Jane Levy's Mia beautifully. The next category is horror. Does it deliver the goods? Is it scary? There is plenty of blood and gore to go around. There was so much blood and gore that the MPAA even made Alvarez trim the movie, since it received an NC-17 rating when it was first submitted. The majority of the blood and gore is excellent practical work by the FX department. The possessions are terrifying, the Deadite makeup is awesome and legitimately frightening. The contacts they use for the possessed character's eyes are straight nightmare fuel. The vine sequence in this installment is every bit as effective as the originals. The vine spewing from the demon's mouth has an alien-like quality to it that makes it feel less like an assault and more like an infection. It's quite gnarly, even on a rewatch. The bathroom fight sequence between Olivia and Eric is absolutely brutal, and you feel the impact of every blow and puncture. The hand amputation scene is also extremely well done, proving once again that practical effects are the only way to go in horror. And then there's that box cutter tongue scene. It lives rent-free in my head, still, years later. For horror, The Evil Dead gets another 2 out of 2. I cannot say enough about the brutality, the blood, and the gore in this movie. It is truly one of the most violent and goriest movies ever to come out here in America. And again, the practical effects. I cannot say that enough. Practical effects goes a long way. The actors feel it on the set. The audience feels it on the screen. It is one of the most important factors in a great horror movie. The last category is legacy. Does this movie leave a mark on the genre? Will people be talking about this 5 years from now? The simple answer to those questions is yes. It left a huge mark on horror, and we're still talking about it 13 years later. There's something to the fact that the OG producers of the original, Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell, and Rob Tappert, didn't just license this out and walk away, they helped produce it. They stayed close and they gave a rookie the room to make something this absolutely savage. The movie has no mercy for anyone involved. Not the characters, not the cast, not even you. It's violent, it's gory, and brutal in every sense of the word. It's an Evil Dead installment this franchise can be genuinely proud of. and seeing it on the big screen was a real treat for any horror fan. For legacy, Evil Dead gets another 2 out of 2. Now let's add it all up. For production, Evil Dead got a 1. For story, it got a 2. For ensemble, another 2. For horror, a 2. And for legacy, another 2 out of 2, bringing the total score up to a 9 out of 10. The only point this movie lost was on a restless camera, and that's it. That's my whole complaint. Álvarez took the most sacred cabin in horror, filled it with practical gore, and made something truly terrifying and memorable. It honors what came before without hiding behind it. This is what a good remake's supposed to be, and usually never is. If you've never seen it, go fix that immediately. If you have, go watch it again. This movie is available on HBO Max. Go check it out. I'm Arturo Padilla, and remember, it's a scary world out there, but I am here to walk you through it. See you next time.